Now let us locate those places in the map. So this is the physical map of the subcontinent. The first place is River Narmada. Next is Sulaiman and Kirtar Hills region. After that, Garo Hills. Next is the region of Vindhyas. Next comes the river Indus and its tributaries. So, tributaries of river Indus are Satluj, Ravi, Beas, Chenab and Jhelum. Okay. Next comes river Ganga and its tributaries. This is one of its tributary. So river Ganga has many more tributaries. Some of them are Alakananda, Bhagirathi, Gomati, Ramaganga, etc. So these are the places where people used to live. So we located all the places where people used to live in the map. So it's a physical map of subcontinent. Now let us know why South Asia is called a subcontinent. Why South Asia is called a subcontinent? It is very large, even though it is smaller than a continent. It is separated by the rest of Asia by seas, mountains, and hills. So South Asia is called a subcontinent. Why? Because it is very large, even though it is smaller than a continent, and it is separated from the rest of the Asia by seas, mountains and hills. So there are so many mountain ranges that comes between the South Asia and the rest of the Asia. So South Asia is considered as a subcontinent. So uh, it the neighboring countries of the South Asia, which is present countries of India, Pakistan, Bangladesh, Nepal, Bhutan and Sri Lanka. These are the countries included in the South Asia, and the neighboring countries are Afghanistan, Iran, China and Myanmar. So that is why South Asia is called a subcontinent. So people, despite all these dangers of sea, hills and mountains, they used to cross all the dangers and move from one place of the subcontinent to another place. Okay, so why did people travel uh, uh, why did people travel crossing those dangers? Let us know why. To escape from natural disasters. To escape from natural disasters such as floods and droughts. Next reason, in search of livelihood. Next is for trade. Next is why they used to travel to learn and spread the religious traditions and teachings. To conquer lands. So these are the reasons why people traveled: to escape from natural disasters such as floods and droughts, in search of livelihood, for the purpose of trade, to spread the religious traditions and teachings, and to conquer lands. Now, let us know why people travel nowadays. To share new ideas and enrich our cultural traditions. Next, share and learn music, cooking, etc. So, why people travel nowadays? To share new ideas, enrich our culture and traditions, to spread our cultures and traditions, and to know about their cultures and traditions, to share and learn music, cooking, and other kind of art and crafts, etc. So, some even travel to explore and learn about new lands. Right? Nowadays, people even travel to other continents for educations and jobs. Okay. Now, let us know how our land got the name India. Name of the land. of our land is India, or we also call it as Bharat, right? We also call it as Bharat and India. Why the name India came is because of river Indus. It is also called as Sindhu in Sanskrit. Okay. Next reason is the land to north west of river Indus is called India. Iranians and Greeks familiar with northwest lands of Indus called it Hindos or Indos. Okay. So these are the three reasons why India is called India. Next, why is it called Bharat? Why is it called Bharat? A group of people who lived in north, west, and they were also mentioned in Rigveda. This group of people who lived in the northwest were called Bharat, and they were also mentioned in Rigveda. So Rigveda is one of the earliest or oldest Veda. So there is a mention of these people in this book or in this literary source. Now let us know how we found out about all these, or how we found out about the past. How we got to know about our past? Through historians and archaeologists. So, who are archaeologists? People who study the past are called archaeologists. Study of past remains is called archaeology. So the study of the past remains, that is the tools and weapons or mm, the daily life things which they used comes under the past remains, that is stones and buildings in which they lived, they all come under archaeological sources or past remains. So the study of those, or the study of the past remains, is called archaeology. So the people who study these are called archaeologists. Okay. So, how archaeologists or historians got to know about the past? By reading or searching for the sources from the past. Sources means the information which we get from the past remains, or the writings or the books from which we get the information regarding the past is considered as a source. Okay, so reading and searching for sources will help historians and archaeologists to know, to find out what happened in the past. So reading books and searching for sources helps us to know what happened. So the books from the past, or the books which were from the past, were called manuscripts. Okay, this is a Latin word where manu stands for a handwritten. So these scripts were handwritten, that is why they were called manuscripts. Okay, these manuscripts or books were made from the palm leaves or the bark of the trees of birch tree, which was only found in Himalayas. So books were made from the leaves of the palm or the bark of the trees of birch tree, which was found in Himalayas. So let me show you. Palm leaves looked somewhat like this. So they used to write on such leaves and tie them together to make it into a book. Okay, those were called manuscripts. These manuscripts were preserved in temples and monasteries. Some of them were eaten away by insects, but many of them were preserved in temples and monasteries. As it was made from leaves, insects had eaten away some of the manuscripts. What were written in this manuscripts? Let us know what were written in this manuscripts. In this manuscripts, In this manuscript, we got information about medicine, science, epic, plays and poems, lives of kings, religious teachings, and culture. So these were all the things we got to know from manuscripts. So manuscripts dealt with the subjects such as medicine, science, epic plays and poems, lives of the kings. That is how they used to live, what they wore, uh, what was the currency used in that time by that uh, in the period of that particular king, such things, and religious teachings and culture. So these were written in Sanskrit, Prakrit and Tamil. So these were the oldest languages. So the Prakrit was the language which was commonly used by the people in that period. So all these manuscripts were written in Sanskrit, Prakrit and Tamil. Now let us know another source where we found out about the past, that is inscriptions. Inscriptions are the writings on the hard surfaces such as stones and metals. Stones and metals. Okay. So inscriptions had the orders of the kings. So what kings used to do? They used to inscribe their orders on the stones and hang them in a public place where everyone will be able to read and see it, so that they follow the orders of their king. Next, we on inscriptions we also found out about the lives of the kings, queens and the people of their kingdom. Kings also used to inscribe their lifestyle or the stories of their of the kings and queens or the people in their kingdom. They also used to inscribe their victories from the battles. They also used to inscribe the victories from their battles. Now, let me show you an inscription which is from the time of a king called Krishna Devaraya. So, these are called inscriptions where they inscribe on the stones, write on stones. This is an inscription from the from the period of king called Krishna Devaraya. We learned that study of past remains is called archaeology, and the people who study about these past remains are called archaeologists. Okay, so these archaeologists found the past remains such as coins, buildings, paintings, tools, weapons, pot, pan, ornaments, etc. So, and manuscripts, inscriptions, etc. So, these are called the past remains which archaeologists study to know about the past. So, these are the past remains found by the archaeologists. So, what are these called? These are called the sources. Okay. What are these coins, tools, weapons, pot, pan, ornaments made of? So, these items were made from strong substances such as stone and metal. Okay, they were imperishable. So that is why we found these materials, because they were made from strong, hard and imperishable substances. That is why we got to study the past. Next, we learned that we had only one past, or we had more pasts. One past or many. So, past is different for different group of people. Past is different for different group of people. You agree, right? So, the life of a king is different from life of a farmer, right? So we can know about the life of a king, how so the kings inscribed, or the kings inscribed their orders and their lifestyle on the stone. That is how we got to know about these kings. Whereas a farmer, uh, to know about the lifestyle of a farmer or the existence of a farmer, it is a bit difficult. So the archaeologists have to find the sources. That is, they have to explore and excavate. That is, digging under the surface of the earth. Then they got the tools and weapons which were used by the farmers. That is how we can get to know about the life of a farmer, right? So past is different for different group of people. Okay. Example, science, even today, the tribal people who live there hunt animals and collect fruit, uh, collect the gatherings from the forest for their collect or gather the food from the forest, whereas the other cities depends on others for the supplies or the food. So it is totally different how it is in Andaman Islands and in other cities. So it is different for different people, and there are so many things that remains the same way, so that remains there are so many things that remains undiscovered which we cannot know. So it is different for different people. Okay, so our chapter what, where, how and when is completed. There is a paragraph in your textbook called Rashida's question. Okay, so I'll read it out. Rashida sat reading the newspaper. Suddenly her eyes fell on a small headline. 100 years ago. How, she wondered. Could anyone know what happened so many years ago? So her question is, can anyone know what happened 100 years ago? So we have already studied the chapter. So I think you people can answer this question. Okay. Thank you. So the chapter 1 is completed. Yappa.